Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Mabwe from the US Embassy. This is a Food for Thought program. It's a program that we host every fortnightly to discuss different issues affecting our society, to try and explore these issues with a panel and also a live audience. And we're excited today to be partnering to host this Food for Thought session where we're talking about building a music industry in Zimbabwe. We also hold Food for Thought discussion programs in our various American centers across the country. We have one in Gweru, we have another in Lawayo, we have another in Mutare. So whenever you are there, feel free to pop in, see the opportunities that exist there and exploit them, because frankly they are there for people to use them. Some also use them as free venues, it's free internet there if you want to host trainings. So we're always open to ideas, to partnerships. And we're excited today that we are discussing this very important discussion. So I'll just hand over the microphone to Claude, and we hope that we're going to have a lively discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. And welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for turning up. And to our panelists, thank you also. My name is Claude Margo, for those that are interacting with me for the first time. I'm the proprietor behind Earground. Earground is a platform that seeks to amplify new voices, and it is an online radio station and also a platform that, a blog that reviews music, and in addition to that, we do a lot of critique, a lot of it not so favorable, but I think it's necessary for the industry to grow, for us to make checks and balances in where we are. And this is one of the first conversations in a series that we're going to be having in our efforts to try and build a music industry in Zimbabwe. There's a general consensus that we don't have a music industry. That's my personal opinion, in others, but possibly it's not true. So what we're going to do today, we're going to touch on basically three things. First is where are we, as a music sector of music industry, like we have an industry. And then secondly, what are we doing in our own spaces to actually build an industry? So the panelists will share what they're doing, but also to get a bit of feedback from some of the people that are in the audience on what you guys are doing in trying to create and build a music industry. And then also, collectively, what do we need to do for us to have an industry, not just an industry, but a viable, sustainable, and an industry that fits its own, and an industry that grows. So welcome to the Earground Music Business Talk, Building a Music Industry in Zimbabwe. That's the topic. So I'll start with the panelists. They'll introduce themselves in a brief, and then we can lead our conversation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marshall Shonai. I always find it difficult to answer the question, what is it that I do? And in brief and in short, I'll just say I'm in the people business, really. Everything that I do really deals with business. But to be relevant to what we're talking about today, music, I do a lot of concerts in terms of organization, planning, hosting, stage design. I've worked with a number of local artists in terms of management, a lot of other groups as well. I critique as well, a lot. I think maybe the way that I critique music is a bit heavy in terms of how others receive it, but it comes from a good place where I want to see our artists grow, our music industry, start to exist again. We used to have an industry, but it died. How do we revive it?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tapuma Chikosha. First off, I'm a social commentator. I'm very much involved in that. Also, I'm an events and music critic. Well, I usually partner with Marshall when it comes to critics. But I think that's basically what I've been doing of late. And also, I've been doing a bit of artist handling. I don't like to use the term management because I think it's a bit abused. So I'd rather term it handling, because when it comes to management, I think we've still got a long way to go in terms of actually having artist managers. So I'd rather say I handle. I've done a bit of artist handling, and right now I'm currently involved in just a bit of consultation for upcoming artists. That's just me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Hello, excuse me. My name is Tanya Nyashagwena. I think for today, I'll say I'm here in the capacity of music. I'm a senior consultant at Kosha Management. We are a marketing and management firm who specialize in exporting Zimbabwean cultural content, and for today, specifically music content. It involves monetizing the digital content and making sure they're on stages to get money for what they do. Then the other part, the management part, is we train managers. So we're trying to legitimize the term management and make sure we start to understand how to get the business around an artist. It's not just making music and singing songs. It's a whole business network that you have to build, a brand that you have to build, and that's what we work on.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Enedita Mpara, but known to most of you as Rita the Poet. I'm a poet in this capacity, in this music industry capacity. I'm a poet, and I'm a certified sound engineer. I'm a DJ, and I'm in the music business and events planning and management. So that's primarily it. And what do I do with the people besides that? Like she said, she's trying to qualify the term management. But it's more creating platforms for artists, creating platforms for the day-to-day individual to come and express themselves in every artistic capacity that they have. So yes, that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Levi, aka Mumanzi. I'm a lot of things, but firstly, I'm a digital marketer and I specialize in music. I own one of the biggest Zim music online stores, Zim Music Store, and I'm also the co-founder of Moments Media, which is a marketing, PR, and management firm. That's basically it.
Well, quite interesting. I don't know whom I should start with, but maybe who finds it more interesting to answer first, and then we start with you. Do we have a music industry in Zimbabwe?
I know everyone has an answer for that. Okay, I honestly, in the strict definition in terms of industry, we do not have a music industry in Zimbabwe. I think at one point, way back in the 80s, we used to have an industry. I'm just trying to find my notes here, just to give a true definition of what the music industry is. The music industry consists of companies and individuals that earn money by creating new songs and pieces and selling live concerts and shows, audio and video recordings, compositions, sheet music, and a whole lot of other things. And there are a number of companies that then come through, right? We can go to the manufacturing side of things, your CDs, now, then your studios, your venue operators, and a whole lot. We're not even going to talk about record companies, which are probably the biggest player when we talk about music industry. We do not have an existing record company in this country, so we don't have an industry.
I'd love to concur with Marshall. We do not have an industry. Why? Because the companies that are involved in this music industry that we are discussing today are not visible, they're non-existent. So it is true that we do not have an industry in Zimbabwe. We used to have it, but then I love to say it was more of a one-sided affair because it mainly focused on distribution. Case in point being Grammar Records. After that and ZNC, yes. But in terms of actually artists building, artist development, that has not been there from time immemorial. I think Pakare Pai tried, though it just like opened up a space for people to be able to, rehearse and stuff. But in terms of actually building an artist's capacity from the ground up, that is non-existent. So it is true in Zimbabwe at the moment we do not have an existing music industry.
I 100% agree. I don't think I want to add too much. I think the next question will be exciting. What do we need to do? Because we don't have one.
Yeah, primarily.
Now we've all agreed with the panelists. I don't know you guys, that there is no music industry in Zimbabwe. We do not have what Ghana has. We do not have what South Africa has. And what we have are possibly just, cliques or groups of people that are doing what they are doing in their own space. But ultimately, none of these are working together as an ecosystem to really move an industry. And you made reference to Grammar Records. When that thing turned into a white elephant, there has been no other alternative that creates like an A&R for music, that creates like a proper music distribution, not just online but even offline. Something that ensures, that artists get copyrights, get royalties, get this and that. And we'll touch on some of those things, how Zimura is robbing artists. I'll say that it is. Because as you know, Zimura retains 40% of whatever money that artists make. They are getting money from clubs, they're getting money from DJs, they're getting money from DJs, from shows, from everywhere. But where does this money end? Right, that's another thing. Radio stations, we'll touch on that. Where are the radio stations? What's the quota system? How much local content is getting on rotation? Is it only Harare getting played? Is also Mutare getting played? Is it Blawayo? What's really happening? Is it only one step or being played on radio and our radio stations captured? We'll touch on some of those things, but we have to be honest with each other. As long as we just keep, talking our own small closets, the elephant in the room will not move. So I think what we need to do is to move the elephant so that ultimately we are all part of the steak, and we determine how the steak goes and how we eat the steak, but no beef. So, yes. So, where do we go from now? But before that, I would want to know from each one of you, what is it that you are doing in your own space to create or contribute towards the construction of the music industry? What work are you doing?
Okay, thank you. So what I'm doing personally as a person and as an individual is we've created, I'm a web developer, we've created a website where anyone can get Zimbabwe music for free download, and also for paid download. So it means if you want to buy music, you just go Z Music Store, you can pay with Earground, you can pay with whatever you want. That's the first thing. And it's easy also for an artist, you can go there and you can upload your own music. You don't need me to be there to actually upload your music for you. You can just do it on your own, and you can just say for sale. When I go there, I can just see this is for sale. Then the contract is there, everything is there, everything is digital. There is no need for human beings to actually be part of the system. That's what I'm doing. So right now we have around, let's say, just to give you a number, our visits pay, like our downloads are like, let's say 100,000 per week. That's 100,000 people who are going there to just download music, different tracks, because we get everything we get done. So we got jazz, we've got hip hop, and we've got Afro pop, because these are the main, like, the urban sounds that everyone is liking. And so, wow. Then what can I say? Then I'm also a PR guy. This is like one of my dreams. I'm a hype man, let's say, somebody who works behind the artist. Maybe this is like the third or the fourth time that I actually show myself. People don't know who I am, they just know what I do. I just push you. If I say I'm going to push you, I push you. So I push the artist, then after some time, our contract will be done and I take the next guy. So I mainly focus on the upcoming artists. I have not worked with anyone who is established yet. I'm not interested anyway. So that's what I do. So when I started off as a music critic, like what they were saying. I was the guy who could bash you. If I could tweet about you, then the tweet would go like, let's say, 500 retweets, anything. Then I saw, okay, people are actually listening to me. So what can I do? I started what I called the monthly Twitter view, where I would just pick an artist, then I'll ask them a couple of questions for an hour, then some guys will do it, will also ask questions, then I will compile it, then I will blog it. From there, my audience started to grow. Then, as the audience was growing, my mind also started to grow. I started to see opportunities that I can do this, I can do that. So that's when I started all these opportunities for me and for other artists. And what was the other thing? The other thing is women's media. Women's media is like we mainly focus on the digital stores like Apple, iTunes, Spotify. But the thing is, someone actually has to pay for that. We don't want to be in between the artist and what do you call this, in the digital distributor. So they pay us, we put their music up, then they get their money. We don't need to handle anybody's money because we have understood that whenever there is money, there will always be a problem. So we've actually eliminated ourselves from that equation so that people can just, it's actually, it's me.
I don't know what's
Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, we're experiencing blackouts. It's not only power but also sound. And if we don't work together collectively, Zimbabwean sound might go extinct. Our radio stations, our platforms, our DJs are more hungry for what's coming from outside than local. So we really have to work hard and make sure that the sound is on. Are we good?
Yeah. Alright, so maybe you need to hire me. Yeah, maybe you need to hire me.
Yes.
Yeah, sound engineer. Maybe the sound engineer. Alright, so yeah, that's what I do as well. Like I'm a sound engineer, and I do avail myself for events and stuff like that, wherever artists need to showcase what they do. But I think for a while now, I've been out of the spotlight. I used to create events for artists to come and perform, host album launches, and podcasting. I was on radio. But as of late, I've actually been educating myself more within the music industry. I've been going to school studying towards a music degree. But besides that, I've been engaged in conversations, with a lot of stakeholders within our cultural setting, where we want to impact and to create platforms for young men and young women, young adults, teens, everybody, to come and express themselves artistically within the music industry, within the arts industry, within the creative industry, basically. And so I do create platforms. We have festivals. We've got a festival coming up called York Festival, and it's basically a platform for artists. Zim dancehall, hip hop, although I'm biased towards hip but hip hop, Zim dancehall, cultural music, etc., so that artists can come and perform, basically. But besides that, I'm also into educating people about music. And our culture and our tradition, where our music is Zimbabweans, is Africans, comes from. And like they were saying, there's no industry in Zimbabwe, not because things died, not because Brahma Records decided to become a white elephant, but because we also live in a society that has also lost their meaning, especially in the expression of artistry and music. And so, because not only just DJ, but it's also been contributed by colonialism, by westernization, by the media, where we are being told that we need to act a certain way and forget who we are as Zimbabweans, as Africans. So we've adopted what we are not, and trying to portray that. And if we go back to who we are as Zimbabweans, as Africans, culturally, traditionally, and fuse it with whatever beats to your heart, with neo soul, with hip hop, with Afro beats, with dancehall, then we can then create what we're talking about as a music industry. So that is primarily what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing as an individual.
No, 100%. I'm a massive fan of what she just said, and of course that's number one. Part of it is identity formation. It's, for me personally, it's what has informed or rather inspired me to do what I do. But to touch on, I think we do exactly A and B, what they've said, but to add on maybe for the benefit of others. In a nutshell, I say what we're doing is trying to legitimize cultural dreams. And what we mean by that is, growing up, if I was to squat, when I was growing up and I would say to my parents, I used to think I wanted to be an artist, true words, and they were like, you like that, I was like that. That was what we grew up on. And if you were a middle class child, how dare you dream about arts? You know, it's like the last resort dream. You should be aiming to be a doctor, a lawyer, etc. So, but at the same time, we know that the expression and true expression, authentic expression, comes from within. So what you're great at, surely you should be able to cultivate into a business. And that's what at Kosher we're about, to say, not only are we trying to get young people and their parents or their family to support these cultural dreams, we're trying to get the business network, if you want, to also start to invest massively into Zimbabwean culture industry, and it's beyond just music. Like right now in Nigeria, you have Google through YouTube having a lot of initiatives. They're working with Mr. Easy. You have Sony, you have Universal. These are things that are possible if you're a real, valid, sustainable, and viable industry. And that's where we want to go. And we have said to ourselves as Scotia, how do we get there? How do we get from it being the Irapa radio to there's corporates behind me, there's a business system behind me? And we started off with saying, hey, it's one thing talking about it, but, and you know, as we were also distributors to begin with, but we've evolved because we realized it's one thing just taking people's music, but if it's not quality music, if the product is not right, it's gonna be on iTunes, but no one is gonna buy it. And the competition we have now as Zimbabweans, as Africans, is other African producers. So if the playlist has, for example, if someone they're driving to Glasgow, for example, they want to put their favorite songs on. We're fighting to be on that playlist. And if my song comes after Beyonce's Drunken Love, for example, someone should have pressed skip because, whoa, so as managers, that's where we come in to say, first and foremost, we're challenging the actual quality of the product. So we seek and cautious strategic partnerships with video producers, audio producers, fashion designers, to make sure the brand, the product, your brand, can compete at an international level. It's no longer enough for us to say, but for Zim, for the world. Because we're no longer competing with our next door neighbor, we're competing with the international market. Then the next part is that we were touching on, we also now are challenging artists to respect and have discipline about the job and the professionalism that they need to have for the job. We are competing with international players and trying to pitch our brands for corporate engagement. And to make it sense, if I booked a great meeting with Earground and my artist arrives drunk and 2 hours late, that's it, the deal repair. So even the artist, part of what we do is say, this is our code of conduct, this is how we do business, these are the minimum expectations we have of you if you do these things. So one of the things that we're famous for at Kosha is dropping artists, so taboo, but so we drop artists because we have to make money. As much as we love what we do, we also want to keep lights on. We want to make sure we can feed our families. So it's business first and foremost. And that journey, especially in our industry of music, is very long because half the time you're dealing with creatives who chanced on this career. They were in the studio one time, high as a kite, a buzz from our Buddha. So to say to that person, oh, I think you may do better working with a songwriter is challenging. And you're thinking, but you can become better because songwriting is an art that not everybody has. You may be a better performer than a better songwriter. And even now when we cross over to the promoters now, Tanya, you song per radio, but for a promoter to continue to book your artists, it's about professionalism, respecting the whole journey. You cannot book while you promote the show. While once you come on time, you rehearse, you're not singing and forgetting lyrics. All of that is what we are now having to teach our artists and also empower their managers to have a full voice when they're dealing with them. And after that part, we then have a big part that we play with seeking and trying to get buy-in from the wider creative business ecosystem. So like I said, producers are part of our daily conversation, videographers, fashion designers, wardrobe stylists, makeup, glam squad, all these people, because you have a song, but guess what, the next part you need a visual product, and the next part people need to say, I know the song, do I know the artist? They need to also see the face and the voice. And pitching our artists for international festivals is part of what we have to do. Pitching them, Knana Trace, again, the quality of product becomes the conversation we have to have. So it's we have taken on the challenge of the journey from identifying talent, producing quality products with the talent, branding the talent, marketing the talent, and then eventually monetizing that talent. And for us, money is not just from selling tickets to shows or selling the song on iTunes. It's also corporate buy-in, it's licensing your image, it's merchandising. And for us, merchandising is beyond printing your name on a t-shirt. It's why fashion designers are part of our best friends network, if you want, because we can create limited collection lines like they do in America. It's trying to really make the creative community viable for business. That's at Kosha. It's not a nutshell anymore, but the full scope of what we're doing.
I'm going to say we're not really public speaking, but yeah, it's done. Anyways, what do I do in my personal capacity? I think from 2013 to 2017, I worked with about 4 or 5 artists in Zimbabwe, and the biggest challenge I noted was people do not understand the need for things to be on pen and paper. We are a group of people that just like doing things for the sake of it, gentleman's agreement, I want to know what, I'm going to do this for you, what. Then when time comes for you guys to say, okay, but because there's no paper trail or nothing, you both lose out. And Tukana going on social media saying all sorts of stuff. So I then decided to identify that area and try work with artists. But then I decided that working with an artist may be a bit difficult because of the nature of my work at the present moment. So I then identified someone who I could then show, okay, fine, I know you've got so much interaction with artists. Anything that you're going to do with an artist, before you finalize it, please can I see it? Can I just have a brief of what you're doing? Let me put it on pen and paper for you. Then you can go and finalize that deal. Because you find out that everyone is losing a lot of revenue in the process because nothing is on pen and paper. We are just doing things so haphazardly, gentlemen's agreements, takasangana mbawa, or we meet in the street, or we meet on the Facebook streets, and then we just talk. And then we decide to engage ourselves, but there's really no, paper trail. And I always believe, I'm more of an administrator, and I believe the paper trail helps a lot. It protects you, it helps you build a solid brand. So what I've been doing of late is I'm working with one guy. Anytime he's got something that he's done, he's a very young guy, budding guy, he's involved with a lot of artists. Whatever he's doing, I do the paperwork behind the scenes because I don't want him to waste his talent. And I don't want people to exploit his talent or him to exploit the next person. So that's more of what I'm doing at the present moment, is just trying to make sure that whatever artists are being involved in, at least let there be some form of paper trail, you know what I mean? So that we can be able to protect the work that we are doing, because that way we can be able to then build the industry. Secondly, I'm also trying as much as possible to get artists to register companies, because that is the biggest challenge we have with Zimbabwean artists. I'll tell you, if you look at 85 to 90% of the artists that get to be on corporate events, they lose out on those 10% capital tax. For one simple reason, you are not registered by Zimra. And it doesn't cost more than $150 for you to be registered, get a company, have a tax clearance number. So you find that every time you're booked, you get 4,000. Someone says, I'll pay you 4,000, but I'm going to take away 400. So imagine in a year, if you're booked 50 times, that's like 20,000 you've lost simply because you're not ready to part with $150 to register a company and get a tax clearance number. So that's part of the work that I'm also trying to, conscientize our artists to say, you know what, just get it now. It doesn't cost you much, $150. So that's part of the work that I'm really trying to get artists to understand, because these revenue streams that we keep losing are the reasons why we're not being able to build. Because at the end of the day, if an artist, instead of getting 500, gets 300, and the person he's working with is also expecting to get paid, I charge him $50 because he's lost $150. And that person is going to be bitter, and they're going to move. And that person was going to help the artist to grow to the next level. But because of, just basic administration stuff that's not on ground, they lose out. So I think that's what I've just been trying to, work with artists to try and put in place.
Interesting. I think, people are really working, Makes you feel like they're not doing anything at all. But anyway, for me, I think I've been doing what I love for quite some time now, in terms of music. I've loosely, let's use the word, managed, right? Certain artists, work with recording studios where you oversee or are part of the creation of a song until it's recorded and put through to the right to the end, where it's released and it's marketed and it's being sold. I've since stopped some of those. Even in terms of management, in terms of concerts. If an artist says, hey, I'm doing a concert, can you help me, in terms of planning it? I've sort of stepped back out of frustration because of how our artists do business, right? Our artists actually do not understand. The things that are being spoken about here are important, but our artists actually do not know those things, right? So what I've started doing lately is having conversations with a lot of different players in the industry. I think I'll touch on it more when we talk about how then do we go forward, because that is really where my passion is. We can talk about what I've been doing or what I'm doing currently, but I think it's adding to the confusion and the madness that's already there. I'm mostly interested in about what we're going to be doing next, and in other circles, I'm known as a political activist, and I'm trying to marry my activism and my passion, which is music. So I'll get more into that when we talk about how then we go forward.
Quite interesting. There was a talk of the narrative. What narrative do we have as a nation? If you look at South Africa, they might be doing house, different type of music, but you find they've got a universal narrative that they push. And this is the narrative that has managed to make them be heard and break into markets outside the world, outside of South Africa. from here. We fill up venues. You know, I've heard somebody say, the music from Blawayo is boring because we don't hear the language. And then I'm like, but the artists from South Africa, they're coming here, they're filling up venues, singing in Zulu, singing in Ndebele, singing in languages that we don't understand. So is it an issue of language, right? Or is it an issue of systems that we've created for ourselves where we've not allowed music to devolve to other areas, where we've not allowed promotion to function viably, where the government has not been very much aware to the needs and the plight of artists and what artists need, not handouts, but to say what is it that we need as artists from the government in creating a conducive environment. Is our minister alert to the needs of the artists? I'm actually happy to see young people here because these represent the next generation and the future of where we're going. If you look at the older generation of artists, in terms of the narrative, a lot of them, there is nothing written about them. We actually struggle to know even their date of birth. We struggle to know their history. We struggle to know how good boys fell, despite having reached the same level that Mokomba has reached today. There is no information, there is nothing. It's not there online, it's not there offline. The few stories that are written, I have a documentary on George Barbara that was done by a German filmmaker. We have to wait for other people to tell our stories, and that's the only time we can celebrate. Mokomba has done amazingly well for so many years. You name them, right? But if you tune on radio, you barely hear their music. And some will tell you, because it's boring, it's not interesting. Put it on radio, let people decide, right? Put it in the media. Let's have programs on TV. Back in the days where TV communicating with all of us, but right now we are flooded because content is coming from South Africa. DSTV is all the content. This is what we all want to be like. Our musicians are starting to sound more like what they see. And we're losing it all simply because we are copying. So you check the top 100 songs, all the songs that we hear there, they are singing stuff, they're trying to sound. We have changed even our accent, we've changed our dressing. Our politicians go to parliament wearing Nigerian regalia. I'm not saying it's bad, but there's nothing that connects to our culture that makes us feel proud to say, look, I'm Zimbabwean, I'm coming from Zimbabwe, this is what I represent. Not because we don't have these things, but I think because we've lost it. But I think it's not too late. We as young people, we're going to take this, we're going to make sure that we correct some of these things. There's an issue of promotion. From January to December, you see 2 artists on posters. Are we saying they're the only great artists that we have in the country? Or corporate events, how keen are the companies in Zimbabwe? Do they only jump on 1 artist or 2 artists? Are artists captured? What's the sort of relationship? Why do we have these same artists appearing on posters? What about the young artists that we see? If we give them a chance, I'll give you an example of what I've done in my own personal space, just to add on to what these guys have done. A song called Mabo that was released by Obechai. 8 months after the song was released, the video was on YouTube for 8 months. Nobody played, nobody listened to this song. I randomly bumped into the song. I hugged it for 3 consecutive weeks. That song by the end of the year, in 5 months' time, the song was one of the most played songs. Right now, it's one of the most sought out artists. And if you could go on YouTube, you find there's so much content that is dying there. There is a lot. On Earground, when we open up the platform, at a single week, we get not less than 60 new songs. A lot of them amazing artists, amazing talent. Some with potential, but if they get on rotation, if they get onto a platform, they will get somewhere. In 2000, we saw what this 100% and then later 75% content did. A single policy, what it did to create an entire music genre that empowered an entire generation of artists. Sound that was not allowed at ZMC or Grama or RTP, where you go there and say, if you're not doing Sungura, if you're not doing gospel, we're not recording you. But these artists found their own space, found their own voices. And today we have Zim Danso, they're in Bari, at Q-Spot, at different recording studios. Right? They've created their own platforms. Most of them, they've not been taught by anybody. They're creating their own studios, learning how to create music. But where is the government? Where are the institutions? Where are the people? If you look at South Africa, look at Kwaito, look at house music. The institutions that were there, the likes of Galo music, which is the equivalent of grammar music, they've managed to actually embrace and transform and be relevant. But today, Grammar is being sold for 5 million. Who will buy it, even with the catalog that it has? People are struggling to buy it for $5 million US, right? And what's happening to the royalties and the rights of the music that is there? So I think we need to really work as young people and stop being egoistic and stop, just looking outside and say, oh look, we want to try and just do the Niger sound. We have something that is beautiful from Zimbabwe. Lastly, from my end, business, the narrative, promoters, and artists. Are artists kin? It's something that has been said here. Do we have artists that are kin? If you check here, how many artists do we have? Possibly maybe 30% or 40% are artists in the sense of being musicians. Where are the artists? Our artists are hungry. Unless they go hungry, literally, that's when they start asking for information and wanting to know how to do things. I know of one single artist who blew up 3 years ago and was the most talked about artist. He bought a 5-liter Jaguar, and today there is chicken and other stuff waiting in that car. He's actually literally walking. And we have seen artists and we have loved artists that have struggled and say, oh look, what's happening to this artist used to do Singura, look at that artist and so forth. We laugh at these things, but I think it's no longer a laughing matter. Because the next day it's going to be us, the next generation, because nothing lasts forever. Right now we are where we are, but I tell you in 5 years' time there's going to be a new sound. Right? Who would have known there will be Shoma Josie in South Africa? There will be, in Zimbabwe there will be Aishan. Who would have known? These are changes. Who would have known that there will be Enzo Aisha? Where the artist that put Zim Dancer would sound and last in the same way that it was. But today, this could be some talk, but I tell you, it has to get to somewhere. And for me, I'm very passionate about music. We started the Zim Hip Hop Summit. We started the Zim Dancer Summit. I was part of the Zim Dance on Awards from inception. And I've been passionate about music, but I think it has to be us. We have to own this. It's not going to be one person, because right now, there are people that are happy with the captured system where it's only functional from their end. And if they are not there in the equation, music stops. No. There are people that were bigger at one time and thought they were bigger than music, but today they are not there, but still music is being played. So, where do we go from now? I think I could pass for a pastor. Where do we go from now? I'll do a one round here and then we'll get the participation. I want also to hear the voice from the different artists from jazz. I see Masa is there, I see Lazzy is there, I see Philo is there. Right? So we've got a generation, and from the older generation to the new generation, I believe we can do this. Masha, where do we go?
All right, thank you very much. I think I was dancing. My feet were moving as Claude was, because it's touching on things that I'm passionate about. We need to start having different conversations. And as far as not just our music industry, I know the topic today is music, but for me it's really a whole sector of the arts, right? Talk about dance, theater, film, all those things. And let me really just cut to the chase. Our problem is politics, guys.
Thank you.
That is our problem, right? We have a government, really, that... Let me try and find kind words. Listen, it is an honest conversation. What I'm just trying to say is that we have a government that is not knowledgeable, right? In terms of what it is sitting on as far as the arts industry is concerned, right? In 2018, the US music industry raked in $20 billion, right? In terms of CD sales, they sold 52 million CDs, right? Okay, I'm talking about an economy that is functional, that has systems to push these things. The ticket sales for concerts is in the billions of dollars, right? I'm just using that example so that we know the capacity, right, that arts have. So when we come back to our government, they've not created policies that are kind to the arts. It goes back to statement that Tawa Kanabe Guti Kanasheta the music, there's a chirombe, or vakafoira kuchikoro vanotamba sports and the like. Listen, we have now Marvelous Nakamba now getting $68,000 a week because he's playing soccer, right? Munyika muno, we've got problems economically, just our economy is not working, and we have simple things that we can export. We have music that we can export. But do we have policies, do we have government policies that support that? Claude touched on urban groups, that it was a single government policy that gave the birth to urban groups. I don't even want to talk about urban groups in that light because that was exploitation, right? This was a policy that was very selfish because the government was trying to fight certain wars. Then they said, oh yeah, it was a propaganda war really. Then Jonathan Moore just woke up one night and said 100% local content. Were we prepared for that? Thank God it brought out XQ, Leonard Mafumo, Mafrika, all those are the guys, which is good. But if they're going to be deliberate, the same way that they did, we're talking about Zimura today, which is Mariema artist Irugenda Kupi, that's government policy. Even in terms of at ministerial level, we shouldn't bunch up, arts, culture, sports, and the like, The arts must have their own ministry that stand alone. I mean, that's the ministry that just stands alone for arts. Okay? I think it's a couple of weeks back where we lost Babaji Funisen, and the minister was there attending the memorial service. And right from the front, Ndarawa Edward Davis Bush actually said, Minister Tunotenda on us. In the sense that the minister is straight. My warriors, that would be of the minister. Kunetbo. Is part of what? Of this conversation. So a policy will remain the teaching towards the arts. That's one. Two, our mindset, which is where we now need to start having the conversations in terms of saying, no, this is a Chirombe. Okay, you can still be an A grade student and do music. That's what that conversation now, and I think most of us in here we're parents, some of us, and we need to start having different conversations and encouraging, kids to excel more in sports in that way. It's a cultural thing. And anyway, we have also qualified it. Some of our artists, their behavior, just cements that sort of mindset. I love Zim Dancer, by the way. I think it's the hottest thing that happened to Zim after a whole lot of things. And with Plot here, and I think I'm gonna be letting out we're starting to document, just how did it start? What is the history? And I'm sure we all saw a conversation that came up online when somebody was claiming that they came up with, or they named it Zim Dancer. It created a conversation. Where is it today and where is it going? So our conversations, need to start changing. And just to finish off, I was talking about activism. For me, those are some of the things that I need to start, that I'm going to be taking up in terms of starting to make noise. That we, not just noise, but the right noise. We need to have more of these conversations where we're creating platforms where we can even come up with a policy document afterwards and just recommend certain things. And for as long, we can do all these nice things that we're talking up here, but for as long as the government does not realize that there is money to be made in music, we're not going anywhere.
All right. Where do we go from here? Like, we identified the problems, we have identified what we're doing. I think, in terms of just adding on a bit to what Marshall said, I think some of these structures that represent music, I'm going to speak in terms of music, they need to be changed. Reason being, they're not helping us. I was talking to a friend just before we started this discussion that, for example, it's surprising enough that one of the top gospel artists is on the board of Zimura. Nkwasha Charambu is on the board of Zimura. But if you look at in terms of contribution, what he has done as an artist in terms of improving the nature of Zimura, we can't talk of it now. So I think from the board perspective,
in terms of the representation of artists in some of these institutions, it has to change. We really need new representation, we need new ideas. I mean, go on Google right now, just type Zimura, there's no website. So for example, even Enzo Aisha, watch Pareto. How does he trace how much he's getting in terms of royalties for his music? He doesn't have that statistical data because it's not there. It's just, they think, okay, fine, I think we played it maybe, 10 times. So I think let's just give him, So that's what we need to change. And we really need to advocate for that, because if we don't, I'm telling you, Zimura right now is sitting on a PA system that they bought. I don't know if they bought it or it was given to them.
Bought it from Culture Fund.
Yes, they bought it from Culture Fund. That PA system is sitting right at the back office wall. It's there. A top state-of-the-art system. But because of the structures that are there, it's not helping the artists. But it was given to them so that at least they could do something together with the artists. But to this day, there's no Zimura festival that's happening. So I think in terms of the structures from that point, I'm talking in terms of royalties, it has to change. We have to digitalize the whole system. Star FM is online, Power FM is online, almost all our radio stations are online. So it's very easy for us to be able to track what song is being played at any given time. So we need to make sure that the structures that are representing artists for those things when it comes to royalties, they actually do their job. They're not just sitting, because you can't be taking 40% and not helping us. 40% actually. So if it means that the artists advocate for those boards to be removed or for them to improve, I think that's what we also need to do. Secondly, we've got the Zimbabwe Union of Musicians. It's a good initiative, but it's not fully represented. I mean, hate it or love it, Zim Dance is the biggest